question is this. You may prevail here, but the 11th Circuit in Atlanta, where Ron DeSantis has filed a lot of appeals, lost litigation, has been a friendly forum for him. Is there a risk that a federal appeals court will, in effect, sanction what DeSantis did and make it much easier for him to do to other people what he's done to you?
Look, there are no guarantees anytime you go to court. The only thing I can guarantee is that the law is on our side, and that if the governor is allowed to do this, what's left of democracy? If the governor is allowed to retaliate against me for speaking out, what's left of the First Amendment?
Do you accept that the governor was elected democratically by all the people in Florida?
I'm sorry, the question again?
So you're saying it's undemocratic, but the governor was elected by the people of Florida, and so how are you calling him undemocratic if he was elected? I mean, he's not.
Yeah, I agree that the governor was elected in a fair and free election once, just like I was twice. And it's worth noting, by the way, if the governor thinks he can do a better job of being state attorney in Hillsborough County, he should probably look at the vote count. I received 370,000 votes in the last election there. He received, I think, about 230,000.
And the governor has no role.
Sir, yeah.
Do you have an example of this argument, this First Amendment argument, being successful in overturning the suspension of an elected official?
Yeah, I can't speak to every case in every state that would ever raise these claims, but what I can tell you is that the law is clear that an elected official like Mr. DeSantis cannot use the powers of his office to retaliate against fellow elected officials, in this case a fellow constitutional officer, to serve his purposes. And in that, the First Amendment is clear. The courts have been very clear that the First Amendment protects elected officials just like it protects all of us, and to some extent protects elected officials even to a greater degree, because it is the job of an elected official to speak out on matters of public importance so that the voters who elect them can judge their criteria. It is not, however, the prerogative of an elected official to use his or her office to silence fellow elected officials. The marketplace of ideas needs to remain robust. That's what the First Amendment in part helps to protect. The marketplace of ideas is served by having all elected officials speak out, engage their constituents, engage the voters, and have the voters decide whose policies should prevail as to a particular office. And I would note that in this case, the voters not only elected Andrew once, they did it twice. And Andrew didn't hide the ball. The exact same policies for which he has been removed, the exact same policies that he has espoused and for which he was elected are the policies on which he was now removed. This is a choice that the voters already made. Governor DeSantis does not get to make that choice for them.
Are you saying the governor can never suspend a bad prosecutor?
Of course, I'm not making any categorical statements like that. My job isn't to defend every prosecutor in every case. My job is to tell you and the courts that Mr. Warren didn't do anything that the Florida Constitution provides to be basic
Treasury. He's using taxpayer dollars to violate the law of Florida when he's supposed to be serving Floridians. You know, this is a fight that's much greater than me. This is about preserving democracy in our state. That is a fight worth fighting, and we are fighting on behalf of every voter to make sure their vote counts. We're going to make sure we do our best to have the resources to fight it.
The governor mentioned several cases where you didn't push to prosecute criminals heavily as you should possibly. And one of those cases were a man who attempted to kidnap 2 children and had done so in Alabama 2 weeks prior. Why didn't you push to prosecute those criminals more heavily?
So that case, the prosecution is still ongoing. You know, the governor lives in a political arena where he can say things that are just disconnected from the truth. As a prosecutor, I've spent my career in a court of law where facts matter, where evidence matters, where the truth matters, and the truth will come out in this. And let's talk about the truth. The truth is that in the 6 years I've been in office, Hillsborough County now has the lowest crime rate of any county in the Tampa Bay area, the lowest crime rate of any major county in the state of Florida. Our crime rate has gone down nearly 29% over the past several years since I've been in office. Those are the facts. So the governor doesn't want to talk about that. He wants to cherry pick this case or that case because he has to ignore the fact that I'm doing the job that I was elected to do, and I'm doing it well. That's why crime is low in Hillsborough County.
Just to follow up, you're not going to release your donors?
We will follow the law as we have always followed the law. Look, I put my hand on the Constitution. I put my hand on the Bible when I was sworn in, and swore to uphold the U.S. and the state constitutions. That's exactly what I've done. It's what I'll continue to do. And you're talking about, the law here. Let's be clear. The governor has violated the most sacred law of our democracy, that people's vote matters. You can't just throw out people's vote because you don't like the outcome of an election.
The answer is no.
Other state attorneys did not sign that letter about abortion. And in fact, they seem to be pretty surprised that you didn't see this coming. How do you respond to that?
So if you're asking me whether I should have anticipated that I would be punished for speaking out freely and exercising my First Amendment right, think about the question. I have the same First Amendment right that everybody else in Florida and every American has. I have the right to speak freely about issues that are important to me. And I'm speaking out not just on an issue that's important to me. I'm speaking out because it's my responsibility as a state attorney to speak out on issues that affect the criminal justice system. That's exactly what I did, and I'm being wrongly punished for it.
From your perspective, Mr. Warren, how much discretion does a prosecutor have to make a determination as to whether or not to prosecute a case or not? And where is the line, and how much latitude does it take?
We could spend hours talking about prosecutorial discretion, but prosecutors have discretion, and I've exercised that discretion within the law. And we exercise discretion at every step along the way, from charging decisions to how we prosecute cases, to plea negotiations, to sentencing. That's a prosecutor's duty, not just for the practical reasons of managing the huge caseload that we have, not just to make sure that we're prioritizing the crimes that pose the greatest threats to our community, which is what we've done, but because prosecutors have an ethical obligation to exercise discretion. Anything less would be a violation of our ethical duty as prosecutors.
One of the exhibits attached to your lawsuit deals in some detail with the bike stop policy of your office. Can you explain how that's relevant to your case, the policy about bike stops for pedestrians?
That was one of the orders, one of the policies cited in the governor's executive order. So we're responding in our complaint to that specific order.
Did you delete files from your computer before you turned it back in?
Okay.
You held it for a number of hours. Before you turned it back in, did you delete any files?
I didn't delete any. The silliness of your questions. You are. These are silly questions, and you're suggesting something that's wrong. Sir.
We are going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap this up.
You're here to observe. If you don't have a question, please.
Yes or no?
What?
Did you delete files?
No, of course not. In fact, when the governor showed up with an armed deputy at my office, I went to preserve files on my computer so that they weren't deleted. I was not allowed to do so, and there's a question about whether those files were saved on my office once the governor's people came in and started touching things in the office and controlling what was happening in the state attorney's office by someone who was never elected to serve as state attorney. Didn't receive one vote for state attorney, the governor didn't. But he came in, they took control of the office that the people elected me to serve in. So you'll have to ask the governor what his people did. What files were preserved? What other laws were violated when they took control of that office illegally?